Hold on before you get too excited about those January 22nd and 23rd stimulus rumors flooding your social media feed. I need to be straight with you. There is no confirmed IRS stimulus payment scheduled for these dates, and I'm going to show you exactly what's really happening. Here's the truth. Congress has not approved any new stimulus payments, and the IRS has made zero official announcements about January checks. What you're seeing are recycled rumors, clickbait headlines, and unfortunately, some dangerous scams targeting seniors. But here's what you do need to know. The last legitimate automatic payments went out between December 2024 and January 2025. Those were catch-up payments for people who missed claiming their 2021 recovery rebate credit worth up to $1,400. That deadline passed on April 15, 2025. Now, President Trump has proposed a $2,000 tariff dividend, but economists point out the numbers don't add up. Tariff revenue falls billions short of funding such payments. And those DOGE dividend rumors? Also unconfirmed proposals. The IRS has issued clear warnings. They will never contact you first through text, email, or social media about stimulus checks. If someone's promising you guaranteed money for January 22nd or 23rd, that's a red flag. I'm going to break down every detail in this video, including how to verify real IRS notices and protect yourself from scammers who specifically target seniors during tax season. If you want the unfiltered truth about what's really happening with IRS payments and how to spot the fakes, give this video a like so more seniors can get accurate information instead of false hope. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let me tell you what's really going on here and why this matters more than you might think. The rumors about January 22nd and 23rd stimulus payments didn't just appear out of nowhere. They're part of a much larger problem that's putting seniors at serious financial risk right now, and I mean serious risk. We're talking about sophisticated scams that are draining retirement accounts, stealing identities, and leaving people in financial ruin. So stick with me here, because what I'm about to share could literally save you or someone you love thousands of dollars. Let's start with the facts, and I mean the actual documented facts from official government sources, not what you're seeing on Facebook or TikTok. Congress has not approved any new federal stimulus payments, and the IRS has not announced any upcoming checks. That's the bottom line. There are no checks coming on January 22nd. There are no checks coming on January 23rd. There are no secret IRS notices that only certain people are getting. The whole thing is manufactured fiction designed to get you to click on links, share your personal information, or worse. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but I saw it on the news, or my neighbor got a message about it. Here's the thing you need to understand about how these rumors spread. Scammers and clickbait content creators have gotten incredibly sophisticated. They create websites that look exactly like legitimate news sites. They use official-sounding language. They throw around dollar amounts like $1,400 or $2,000 because those numbers trigger memories of the real pandemic stimulus payments. It's all carefully calculated to bypass your skepticism and make you believe something that simply isn't true. Let me explain what actually happened with IRS payments recently, because this is where the confusion started. In 2024, the IRS issued automatic payments to eligible taxpayers who had not claimed the recovery rebate credit on their 2021 returns, with those payments sent by direct deposit or check between December 2024 and January 2025. That program is done, finished, over. The final opportunity to claim the $1,400 credit was by filing a 2021 tax return before April 15, 2025, and that deadline has already passed. So if you're seeing videos or posts claiming you can still get that money, they're either outdated or deliberately misleading you. But here's where it gets even more interesting, and this is important. President Trump has talked about something called a tariff dividend. He has repeatedly suggested that every American could receive a $2,000 dividend funded by import taxes. Now, before you get excited, let me tell you what the actual numbers show. A November analysis from the Tax Foundation estimated that the proposed payments would cost between $279.8 billion and $606.8 billion, depending on how they were structured, while tariff revenue was projected to total $158.4 billion in 2025 and $207.5 billion in 2026. Do the math there. The money coming in doesn't even come close to covering what would need to go out. And that's not me saying that. That's the Tax Foundation's analysis. During a cabinet meeting in early December, Trump said the United States is collecting trillions of dollars from tariffs and that the money would be returned to citizens as dividend-style refund checks, claiming 2026 could be the largest tax refund season ever. But here's what he didn't mention. According to calculations from Democrats on Congress's Joint Economic Committee using Treasury Department data, import taxes have cost the average American household nearly $1,200 since Trump returned to the White House. So while he's talking about giving people money back, consumers are actually paying more because of these tariffs. And none of this, not one single word of it, has been passed into law. There's no congressional approval. There's no funding mechanism. There's no distribution plan. It's all talk at this point. Then there's this thing called the DOGE dividend that was floating around social media. As the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency rolled out deep cuts to federal agencies and staffing, Trump floated the idea of sending Americans a DOGE dividend, essentially sharing savings from reduced government spending, but the proposal didn't go far, with several Republican lawmakers and administration officials publicly expressing skepticism and economists warning that direct payments could fuel inflation by boosting consumer demand. Since then, the DOGE dividend has quietly disappeared with no legislation, no funding mechanism, and no rollout plan. It was a proposal that went nowhere, but scammers are still using it to trick people. Now here's what makes this whole situation dangerous, especially for seniors. The IRS has been putting out warning after warning about scams, and the scammers are getting smarter. A fake alert claiming the IRS is issuing $13.90 relief payments through direct deposit has resurfaced online, with the persistent rumors about stimulus checks remaining completely false despite widespread circulation across social media platforms and suspicious websites. The IRS even posted warnings this past summer explicitly stating that the recovery rebate credit has expired. Let me tell you exactly how these scams work, because knowledge is your best defense. You might get a text message that looks official. It might say something like, "You are eligible to receive a $1,400 economic impact payment," and then direct you to click a link. These phishing texts ask for personal information in order to receive payments, with scammers pretending to be from the IRS. That link takes you to a fake website that looks almost identical to the real IRS website. You enter your social security number, your bank account information, your date of birth, and boom, you've just handed identity thieves everything they need to destroy your financial life. Or maybe you get a phone call. The caller ID shows Internal Revenue Service. The person on the other end sounds official, knows the last 4 digits of your social security number, and tells you there's a problem with your stimulus payment that needs to be resolved immediately. Fraudsters often pose as representatives from government agencies, including the IRS, by manipulating caller IDs to appear legitimate, pressuring victims into making immediate payments through unorthodox methods such as gift cards or wire transfers under the pretense of resolving fictitious tax liabilities or securing false refunds. They create urgency. They make you panic. They tell you if you don't act right now, you'll lose your money or face legal consequences. Here's what you absolutely must understand about how the real IRS operates, and I cannot stress this enough. The IRS doesn't make initial contact through email or social media channels. A letter or notice is the first way the IRS will contact a taxpayer. If someone texts you, emails you, or messages you on Facebook claiming to be from the IRS about a payment, it is 100% a scam, no exceptions. The IRS doesn't work that way. The IRS only sends text messages with the taxpayer's permission and only collects the taxpayer's cell phone number or email address if they subscribe to receive messages from the agency. If you didn't sign up for IRS text alerts and you get a text about a stimulus payment, delete it immediately. Don't click anything. Don't respond. Just delete it. The IRS also has very specific ways they will never ask you to pay if you actually do owe taxes. The IRS will never demand immediate payment via prepaid debit cards, gift cards, or wire transfers, will never threaten to involve local police or other law enforcement agencies, will never demand payment without allowing opportunities to dispute or appeal the amount owed, and will never request credit, debit, or gift card numbers over the phone. If anyone claiming to be from the IRS asks for payment using iTunes cards, Amazon cards, or wants you to wire money through Western Union, hang up immediately. It's a scam. Now you might be wondering, why are seniors being targeted so heavily? The FBI has actually studied this, and the reasons are both practical and heartbreaking. Elders are typically trusting and polite, many own their own home, have some manner of savings, and enjoy the benefits of good credit, all of which make for an ideal victim profile. Scammers know that seniors often have retirement savings, Social Security benefits, and paid-off homes. You represent high-value targets to these criminals. But there's another factor that makes seniors vulnerable. According to the FBI, elders may be less able or willing to report being scammed because they may not know the exact way in which they were scammed, or they may feel a sense of shame over it. And being scammed may instill fear that family members will lose confidence in their ability to look after their own affairs. This is exactly what scammers are counting on. They want you to feel embarrassed. They want you to keep quiet. They want you to suffer in silence while they move on to their next victim. The financial toll is staggering. Elder scams cost seniors in the United States some $3 billion annually. $3 billion every single year is being stolen from older Americans. And tax season makes it worse because scammers know people are already thinking about the IRS, already expecting to hear about refunds and payments, already in that mindset where an official-sounding message might slip past their defenses. One of the newest and most concerning developments is the use of artificial intelligence to make these scams even more convincing. Scammers have long used tax season to exploit people sharing sensitive personal and financial information, but AI has made their scams more frequent and convincing than ever, from deepfake audio that lets scammers impersonate IRS agents with local accents in convincing voice messages to fraudulent texts and emails that mimic real tax communications. We're not just dealing with broken English and poorly written emails anymore. These scams can now sound exactly like a real IRS agent from your local office. According to a survey by McAfee, 48% of Americans have received a fake IRS message via text, email, social media, or phone, and of those, 79% reported that the sender attempted to collect personal information, made demands, or issued threats. Nearly half of all Americans have been targeted, and adults aged 65 to 74 are the most frequently targeted for payment scams, with 37% reporting demands for immediate back tax payments and 45% receiving fraudulent tax refund requests for banking details. So, what can you actually do to protect yourself? First, verify everything. There are ways a taxpayer can check to see if it's really the IRS. Log in to their secure IRS online account to see if the letter or notice is in their file. Review common IRS letters and notices. Contact IRS customer service directly to authenticate it, and verify any collection notice from a private collection agency has the same taxpayer authentication number as the notice CP40 the taxpayer received from the IRS. If you get something that claims to be from the IRS, don't use the contact information on that notice. Go to the official IRS website yourself, look up their phone number, and call them directly. If taxpayers don't already have an IP PIN, they may get an IP PIN as a proactive step to protect themselves from tax-related identity theft, as an identity protection PIN is a 6-digit number that prevents someone else from filing a tax return using a taxpayer's Social Security number or individual taxpayer identification number. This is free protection offered by the IRS, and it can stop identity thieves from filing fraudulent tax returns in your name. Here's a critical piece of advice that could save you thousands of dollars. Slow down. Scammers rely on creating panic and urgency. They want you to act before you think. If you receive any message about IRS payments, stimulus checks, or tax refunds that requires immediate action, that urgency itself is a red flag. The IRS gives you time to respond to legitimate notices. They send multiple letters. They follow a process. If someone is telling you that you must act in the next hour or you'll lose your money, you're being scammed. Talk to someone you trust before taking action. The FTC recommends this step for those unsure if something is a scam. If in doubt, talk to someone you trust, a friend, family member, or neighbor, and explain the message and the payment situation. Don't let embarrassment stop you from asking for help. A 5-minute conversation with your adult child, a trusted neighbor, or a friend could prevent you from losing your life savings. And please, report these scams when you encounter them. You might think, what's the point? The scammer is probably in another country and I'll never get my money back. That may be true, but reporting helps in ways you might not realize. Every report helps law enforcement track patterns, shut down scam operations, and warn other potential victims. The IRS offers avenues of communication to report scams. Contact the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration to report a phone scam using their IRS impersonation scam reporting webpage. If you've fallen victim to elder fraud specifically, you can contact the National Elder Fraud Hotline at 833-372-8311, which operates Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, with services available in English, Spanish, and other languages. The IRS has also made changes to improve your safety. The IRS ended most unannounced visits to taxpayers by agency revenue officers to improve overall safety for taxpayers and IRS employees. So if someone shows up at your door claiming to be from the IRS demanding immediate payment, that's another massive red flag. Let me address one more thing that I see causing confusion. Some states have issued their own relief payments or tax rebates. These are legitimate, but they're completely separate from federal stimulus payments, and they vary by state. If you see news about payments in New York, California, or Alaska, those might be real state programs, but they have nothing to do with the IRS or federal government, and they definitely aren't happening on January 22nd or 23rd for everyone nationwide. Here's what I want you to take away from this video more than anything else. There is no shame in being targeted by scammers. These are professional criminals running sophisticated operations. They study psychology. They use advanced technology. They test their scripts on thousands of people to see what works best. The fact that a scam is convincing doesn't mean you're gullible or foolish. It means the scammers are good at what they do, but there is power in being informed. Now that you know the truth about these January payment rumors, now that you understand how scammers operate, now that you know what the IRS will and won't do, you're significantly safer. Share this information with your friends, your family, your church group, your neighbors. The more people who understand what's really happening, the fewer victims these scammers can claim. If you found this information valuable and you want to help protect other seniors from falling for these scams, the absolute best thing you can do is like this video and share it. Every like helps YouTube show this content to more people who need to see it. Every share could save someone's retirement savings. We're all in this together, and looking out for each other is how we fight back against these predators who target our community. Stay safe out there. Stay skeptical when something sounds too good to be true, and remember that the real IRS will always contact you by mail first for any legitimate issue. No texts, no Facebook messages, no urgent phone calls demanding immediate payment. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember that one fact, and you'll avoid 99% of the scams targeting seniors right now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring enough about your financial security to seek out the truth. And I'll see you in the next video, where we'll talk about what benefits and payments seniors actually should be expecting in 2026 based on real, verifiable government programs.